Just 2 days ago, not for the first time, and after 7 full months, since the day of the earthquake in Turkey and Syria, the Dutch scientist Frank Huger Piet succeeded in making the most difficult prediction of a devastating earthquake that struck Morocco. The pictures in front of you right now are the result of an earthquake with a strength reaching 7.1 on the Richter scale, which struck Moroccan territory. Morocco was struck by an earthquake measuring 7 on the Richter scale, and its epicenter was at a depth of 10 kilometers from the Earth's surface. The earthquake occurred at exactly 30 past 1 and after midnight on September 9th, and lasted about 120 seconds. It was the longest and strongest earthquake in the history of Morocco, after about 43 years. Indeed, according to the German Research Center for Geosciences, North Africa, and especially Morocco, is still at risk of incoming aftershocks. This is expected to happen in the coming hours or days. It is believed that it will be less dangerous. However, its impact may be disastrous for the buildings affected by the September 9th earthquake. Indeed, it was officially announced that a red alert was issued for all residents of Morocco and its neighboring countries, such as Tunisia, Algeria, Libya, and Western Egypt. But what you will hear immediately is the strangest of all, because a Dutch scientist and earthquake expert succeeded in predicting the earthquake that struck Turkey last February. He was able to predict the occurrence of an earthquake in Morocco by publishing a tweet on his official page on August 30th of last year, confirming the earthquake had a magnitude of 6. It will strike southern Italy and Spain, threaten Morocco, and even repeat the weather forecast on the 6th of September, or before the Moroccan earthquake, exactly 2 days after the earthquake occurred, and confirm that the earthquake is inevitably coming to this region. They must be fully prepared during the coming days as well. He said, "The surprise occurred with the occurrence of an earthquake in Morocco with a magnitude of Richter 7, and the prediction of the Dutch scientist Frank Huger Piet came true. And since then, the scientific community has been in a state of astonishment because of the magnitude of the attack that the Dutch scientist received on the day of the coincidence. He predicted before the Turkish earthquake occurred, as some called it. It was supposed to prevent him from making any statements again. But he continued his predictions and studies based on the position of the planets around the Earth and the changes that result from them in the atmosphere of our planet, to announce the map immediately before you, in which he explained the definition of the state of Morocco. The state of Morocco has been identified as the target of an earthquake, expected within days, and the earthquake occurred 2 days after it was warned. But despite the success of scientist Frank Huger Piet in predicting the occurrence of an earthquake in Morocco, he was subjected to a wave of attacks again on his official page, and what his attackers described, the entire prediction, as a kind of luck, nothing more or less than that. In one way or another, the map is part of many maps that have been announced which focus on the south of the European continent and are relatively far from North African countries, such as Morocco. However, the scientists responded decisively that predicting earthquake locations with the utmost accuracy is currently beyond the scope of science, and that prediction is always made in an approximate, measurable, and error-proof manner. Because earthquakes result mainly from pressure arising in the interior of the Earth, between tectonic plates, and this is a type of energy that cannot be measured directly using devices or even regular satellites. Rather, some special satellites are being manufactured and used that are capable of monitoring changes in heat resulting from the friction of rocks deep within the planet. From one of the giant cracks already visible on the surface of the Earth, and what happened in the Moroccan earthquake was the formation of great pressure between the African tectonic plate and the Eurasian tectonic plate, which led to the occurrence of giant seismic waves that were the cause of the Moroccan earthquake 2 days ago, and that the theory is relied upon if it has sufficient financial support. To develop the devices used to predict earthquakes, it is possible to increase the accuracy of prediction to a greater degree than the current situation. But despite this, we must all realize that predicting earthquakes is scientifically impossible with the accuracy reached by the scientist Frank Huger Piet. This raises a really strange and suspicious question. The question here is, are these earthquakes artificial and unnatural? And could the seismic tremors be the result of war, or experiments using a type of weapon that is suddenly being tested in different places around the world? Well, if this is what happened, how could scientist Frank Huger Piet know? How could scientist Frank Huger Piet know these places so accurately? Is the world frank? He is following a plan. He receives confidential information that he is forced to disclose, for a reason that is completely unknown to us. These are all questions that many international newspapers have asked him. Since the day of the Turkey earthquake last February, and up to the present day in the Morocco earthquake 2 days ago, which makes us assume the existence of some strange theories. This is the reason for the formation of an earthquake, with a destructive power exceeding 6 on the Richter scale in some countries. One of the rumors spread among scientists about the cause of the earthquakes, predicted by scientist Frank Huger Piet, is his use of titanium rods as a weapon placed on board artificial satellites that orbit the planet and are launched in the direction of the targeted countries. It can cause an earthquake with a magnitude of up to 7 or sometimes 8 on the Richter scale, while others assume the existence of a device capable of causing earthquakes and emitting blue light before they occur, as happened in the earthquake in Turkey last February. All of these are hypotheses that are not conclusive and scientifically proven in any way. I would like to assure you for the millionth time that it is impossible, under any circumstances, to predict earthquakes anywhere in the world, because earthquakes and volcanoes are considered natural disasters, which occurs suddenly and quickly, and it is impossible for any type of technology to be able to predict it under any circumstances. And according to the approved scientific method, the new prediction of the Dutch scientist is considered a new coincidence, and nothing more. What scientist Frank does is draw signs to predict the locations of earthquakes in more than one place around the world within weeks or months, hoping that an earthquake would occur in one of the areas he had already predicted. Then he would appear to the world as if he were a legendary superhero, able to predict earthquakes, and this is what many have noticed over the past few days, because he relied in his theory on the gravity of the planets in the solar system to influence one of the planets. It is completely wrong, as the Earth is at a distance from all the planets, which makes it completely safe and will continue for billions of years. Thus, we conclude that the Morocco earthquake is a natural disaster that cannot be predicted in any way. However, we must be scientifically cautious during the coming hours of any aftershocks that may be equal in size or strength, or less relative in strength than the first earthquake. We arrive because the Moroccan earthquake is a natural catastrophe that cannot be predicted in any way. However, it is necessary to scientifically assess during the coming hours any aftershocks that may be equal in strength, relatively less than the first earthquake, with a magnitude of Richter 7. In the end, I wish safety and security for the great Moroccan people. You have all our support and prayers that God will protect you from all harm. But the question now is, after everything you heard today, do you still believe that the earthquake may be as some claim that it was man-made? Or are you convinced that it is a natural phenomenon occurring on planet Earth billions of years ago? I am still waiting to know your opinion in the comments. Goodbye.